Imagine living in a world where storming Normandy beaches takes less courage than building a goddamn Frosty the Snowman. Welcome to Grindelwald, Switzerland, the Alpine paradise where clutching your pearls is an Olympic sport and bureaucrats lose sleep over frozen balls of doom. They didn't just ban snowmen. No, any snow sculpture requiring more creativity than a banker's spreadsheet risks a very nice fine, equivalent to $80 American, roughly the same penalty as smelling too loud on public transport. Let's autopsy why these elves lost their minds. Back in 2015, politicians declared war on ugly mutant snowmen disrespecting tourist optics, a phrase so tragic it belongs in the dictionary beside karma farming. This wasn't triggered by some dopey-faced snow ices. No, just locals building happy meatballs with twig arms. Nazis rolled through town faster than a Bitcoin crash and deemed this snow hooliganism, a crime worse than forgetting to recycle yogurt cups. Violators get fined harder than rappers caught with unvaccinated pets. You're asking, what grown adult trembles at a snow rabbit, the same species that once executed a pope's corpse and weaponized plague corpses? Our brains didn't evolve, they rage quit. My ex-wife Karen tried crafting feminist snow vulvas behind City Hall before getting fined for disturbing icy serenity. She now builds them in protest stunts so chaotic even Anonymous won't touch it. Modern analogy. Health and safety ghouls treating helpless Frosty like the Punxsutawney Phil of terrorism. One mayor publicly worried snowmen would attract crowds and avalanches. Logic so Swiss it hurts. These bureaucrats unironically believe a coal-eyed dork risks more than yodeling competitions or 16,000 metric tons of melting glaciers. Priorities straighter than their army knives. Here's your mystery box. Why target frozen art? Power is a drug weaker than decaf, and banning innocent joy is the ultimate flex. Politicians jacked on rulemaking shakes need to control even frozen water molecules. Rattled by 3 carrots and scarf suddenly mocking their pathetic authority. Our species once legalized dueling pistols, but lost its balls seeing snow genitalia. WTF moment. 0 reported snowman-related deaths, ever, in any millennium. Yet Switzerland has made chocolate guns, cheese attack helicopters, but a snow seal is a war crime. The fragile human ego snaps harder than twig arms in spring. Let's autopsy the catalyst. Drunk 20-somethings weaponizing snow into dick-shaped tributes to the town mayor's micro-penis. Not the first time Swiss youth got creative. Hell, in the 1600, they threw dead cats at weddings for good luck. But now the council clutched pearls tighter than a nun at an EDM festival. Ancient Sumerians handled similar crises when scribes mocked rulers with clay tablet memes. And you know what Hammurabi did? Wrote actual laws against defamation, not banned dirt itself. Here, 3 teens sculpted a snow bureaucrat receiving enthusiastic fellatio from an abominable snowman, and suddenly Frosty's the new Pablo Escobar. Modern analogy. Imagine Twitter banning all emojis because someone tweeted an eggplant at Ted Cruz. That's the bureaucratic equivalent of nuking a popsicle stand over a Yelp review. These council members scan YouTube for swear words like medieval monks hunting heresies in peasant doodles. 0 tolerance for chaos, even temporary frozen chaos. My cousin Lars once got frog-marched out of Zurich airport for carrying Play-Doh, deemed a plastic explosive risk. Same energy. Authority figures think snow testicles trigger societal collapse faster than a cuckoo clock with a meth habit. WTF moment. The ban's enforcement manual includes measuring snow genital proportions to calculate fines, like some perverse Winter Olympic event. Herr Mueller, your snow phallus exceeds regulation length by 17 centimeters. That'll be 300 francs or community service scraping gum off cogwheel train seats. Meanwhile, actual Swiss law permits public nudity in spas and encourages Alpine battles that rupture eardrums at 40 paces. Priorities so twisted they make Möbius strips look linear. Historic irony. In 1386, this same town staged a play where villagers puppeteer snow devils mocking Lucerne's bishop. No fines, no arrests, just the bishop laughing so hard he pissed his robes. Now, build a snow duck wearing a tax collector's hat and SWAT deploys faster than a Rolex resale. How far we've fallen. Medieval peasants had thicker skin than modern Swiss civil servants hopped on the raw power of forbidding floppy snow arms. My therapist, a stoic Bernese owl of a man, once whispered, "Fear joy unregulated, for joy breeds dissent disguised as carrot noses." The snow bureaucracy metastasized faster than Chat-GPT-generated fanfiction about Greta Thunberg wrestling oil executives. During a marathon Zoom session interrupted by council members' OnlyFans side hustle notifications, town elders decreed that any frozen assemblage possessing more than 3 spherical elements constituted aggravated precipitation assault, punishable by fines totaling 2 months of Netflix/Discord/OnlyFans premium bundle subscriptions. Councilwoman Greta Meyerhofer's bullet-pointed hysteria asserted that snowmen perpetuated systemic objectification culture through cold gaze patterns statistically indistinguishable from Andrew Tate's courtroom smolder. Contemporary parallel. Imagine Threads banning photos of Stanley tumblers for promoting hydro-capitalist insurrection through conspicuous hydration aesthetics. Authorities unleashed 73 freshly minted winter behavior scouts certified via 3-minute TikTok tutorials to identify frozen sedition. My neighbor France, a man clinically diagnosed with LARP-induced psychosis after storming a medieval fair with homemade Greek fire, received a surplus Ukrainian drone thermal scope from Wish. Calm, theoretically calibrated to detect subversive slush geometries. Their maiden raid targeted preschoolers constructing a snow tardigrade. Indictment: unlicensed extremophile valorization during school hours. Public defenders invoked Article 272 revisions permitting ephemeral snow installations lasting under 48 parliamentary debate hours or until defiled by municipal pigeons. Prosecutors retorted that this legal strategy constituted the forensic equivalent of Lizzo arguing copyright over a thawing piss disc. Cognitive dissonance achieved nuclear meltdown levels with the Precipitation Integrity Dashboard, a glitchy blockchain-powered surveillance suite scanning for 6-sided ideological deviation. Primary targets: depressed high schoolers sculpting Bauhaus-inspired snow cubes as commentary on late-stage capitalism. Why? Leaked Slack transcripts exposed Councilor Meyerhofer's unresolved trauma. Her childhood pet schnauzer achieved forbidden ecstasy with a particularly well-endowed Frosty replica, resulting in what court-mandated therapists termed permanent psychosexual permafrost. Thus emerged Emergency Ordinance 7B, forbidding unregistered root vegetable distribution like some demented AR-15 carrot registry. Historical amnesia. Archive records reveal the town's 1704 Frozen Transgressions Festival, commemorating lifted cheese sanctions with an ice diorama of Pope Innocent Roman XII, motorboating a satyr crafted from stolen goat milk. Present day. Arrange 2 vaguely spherical slush lumps accessorized with a traffic cone, and you're automatically flagged by Europol's sentient Sunday watch list. My ex-wife Karen, currently serving as HOA president of a Mars simulation colony, would spontaneously orgasm from such bureaucratic overreach. She once petitioned to classify dandelions as biological hate speech and installed Ring cameras facing neighbors' compost bins. Contemporary hypocrisy theater. Libertarian council members rebranded puddles as frozen privilege runoff, while activists condemned abandoned snow scarves as textile appropriation of glacial trauma. The local microbrewery faced bankruptcy after their Frosty's Revenge IPA campaign got flagged for solid-state LGBTQ+ exploitation, punishment exceeding actual charges against the Alpine Ethnic Cleansers Book Club, operating a whites-only raclette grotto. Their fondues remained untouched by regulators because, as Mayor Schultz nervously explained, the platforming aged Gruyere violates free market orthodoxy. 24 months into this cryo-dystopia, snowmen remain extinct, replaced by guerrilla ice sculptures resembling OnlyFans creators' banned content. Subversive Grannies now lead midnight Ionic icicle installations while live streaming melt patterns on Patreon. The baffling crescendo. Tourism revenue skyrocketed when Instagram anarchists monetized snow crime safari packages. Swiss Kardashians now pay $500/hour to pose with illegally stacked slush heaps while evading geriatric enforcers riding segways modified into mobile guillotines. The bureaucratic fart that refused to dissipate finally crystallized in January 23. The Schneemann-Schnuffler hotline. Switzerland's answer to the question nobody asked. What if HOA Karens weaponized cryogenics? Imagine Twitter/X's community notes feature hijacked by jackbooted cuckoo clock enthusiasts armed with infrared snow gauges and pathological hatred of asymmetrical coal smiles. Calls poured in faster than fondue drips off a racist uncle's chin. Geriatric hall monitors narking on snowmen whose carrot schnozzes exceeded municipal code subsection F. 1A like it was the SATs and Kohlrabi Hitler was proctoring. Week 1, 600 reports. Mostly insomniac OMAs deploying drone fleets to document neighbor kids' biodegradable hate speech. The town's AI, trained on 4chan shitposts and Martha Stewart's arrest records, auto-generated Interpol snow notices for rogue crystalline entities. Marshmallow outlaw mugshots pixelated like OnlyFans leaks caption, wanted. This slush-based dissident shows clear signs of anarchist coal alignment. Approach with extreme prejudice and lactose-free hot cocoa. Enter my spirit animal, 89-year-old Greta Mueller, who sculpted a Guinea Schwain snow sculpture featuring radish toenails and Aldi kale eyebrows. The Coalition for Ethical Precipitation descended like seagulls on a chip, condemning her xenophobic root appropriation in a 17-page cease and desist written entirely in emoji legalese. The real crime. Her discount greens undercut the mayor's brother-in-law's artisanal winter garnish cartel. The showdown went more viral than that video of Grimes eating cereal. Greta's grandson live-streamed geriatric SWAT teams clashing with snowplow mercenaries, while attendees chanted, "Let my veggies grow," between chugs of spiked Rivella. Behind the scenes, 4 college interns trapped in a former cheese-ripening bunker, fielding calls about swastika-shaped snow angels, and vegan Valkyrie igloos violating gender norms. Their coping mechanism, a Hunger Games-style betting pool awarding points for most unhinged caller. A current champion, a man who swore sentient Olafs near Bahnhof were pushing CBD snow cones cut with Bolivian marching powder. The resistance arrived via anonymous wheat paste artists tagging municipal buildings with snow crime satires. Picasso's Guernica reimagined as sentient slushies being massacred by snowball bazookas. Town Hall retaliated by hiring frozen asset rangers. 19 ex-yodelers strapped with infrared schnapps cannons earning more per hour than Zurich cardiologists. Budget justification, or protecting crystalline heritage from liquid degeneracy. And the piece de resistance, the Frosty felon's Airbnb experience. Drop $100 francs to sculpt illegal snow golems after curfew while teenagers blare PSYs, Gangnam Style, on vuvuzelas as citizen patrols approach. Last month's piece unique. A Moscow oligarch's side piece fined euros 30K for erecting a Swarovski snow swan that violated Ukraine sanctions via aggressive sparkle dispersion. A final outcome. The hotline died faster than Cybertruck window glass at a demo event, but not before gifting the EU its greatest meme since Berlusconi's Bunga Bunga parties. One melt equals 200 years of neutrality annihilated. That, mesdames et messieurs, is how you weaponize whimsy. Nothing accelerates Swiss cultural innovation quite like international humiliation. After The Guardian mocked them for Switzerland's war on winter fun, the tourism department pivoted harder than a yoga instructor at a cryptocurrency retreat. Official brochures began advertising Grindelwald now with 200% more authoritarian whimsy, while neighboring villages launched guerrilla marketing campaigns like Visit Interlaken, where snow crimes are still legal trademark. The town council's secret weapon. A team of interns force-fed Red Bull and ancient Toblerone reserves to engineer Snowmageddon 2. 0. An AI-powered hotline upgrade that auto-generated snow sculpture permits based on zodiac signs. When Vice leaked their beta test terms of service, including a clause requiring applicants to swear never to construct snow genitalia resembling EU commissioners. TikTok crashed from saturation by snow Gestapo content targeted at Gen Z anarchists. Only Austria was crueler. Their ski resorts offered banned snowman tours, where tourists threw bioglitter at retired civil servants dressed as border agents being pranked by a mascot named Frida the Federalist Yeti. But here's the radioactive cherry on this dysentery Sunday. The original snow hotline never actually disconnected. 3 years post-scandal, it still receives 314 annual calls from lunatics like Vladimir from Minneapolis demanding compensation because his snow succubus melted before achieving sentience. Their official Snow Crimes Facebook page now moderates comment sections like the Vatican censoring porn bots deleting petitions to classify carrot noses as vegetable hate speech. My ex-wife Karen once called them to report our neighbor's snowman for smirking with Calvin Klein model energy. She'd have won that Hunger Games pool if they'd quantified narcissistic weather projections. Instead, she settled for spray painting Frosty was framed across our divorce papers. The cosmic joke. Every call still costs taxpayers enough to buy a solid gold snow shovel. Why keep it running? Same reason zoos maintain dodo exhibits. It's a monument to humanity's unmatched talent for institutionalizing absurdity, like employing ex-yodelers to guard municipal purity through schnapps-based diplomacy. Final lesson. Attempting to weaponize municipal pedantry for viral fame always backfires like a drunk firing a confetti cannon in zero gravity. The snowman won. Switzerland now ranks below North Korea for winter whimsy on TripAdvisor. You? Click subscribe before this channel constructs a 4-foot-tall saccharine abomination menacing your begonias with coal-black eyes whispering, "Cucumber rates are falling." We've already mapped your ZIP code. Resistance melts.